Good evening, ladies. A very warm welcome. We're still in the month of International Women's Day. So a very warm welcome as we celebrate ourselves and who we have been created to be. We are all unique and we need to revel in that. So welcome to this month's Kaushalya UK's Women Empowerment event, always held on the third Thursday of each month, and we have different speakers each month. So Kaushalya UK, a bit about Kaushalya UK. It is a not-for-profit community organisation and originally created to empower and uplift women, growing organically under the dynamic leadership of Ritu Sharma, who is here with us now, who is the founder and CEO. You know, Kaushalya UK and Ritu continue to dedicate her life and the organisation to bringing women of this world to find their own power and true worth. The aims of the organisation are empower women, connect communities, raise awareness of issues that affect women. Unique objective is not just to support those who are in dire need, but also to support women who are on a journey to create a life of fulfillment through their personal, professional and financial growth. Key projects, education. We're on that now, personal and professional growth. Also health and well-being, financial education and entrepreneurship, workshops and social events. Kaushalya UK also has social media presence with their Facebook page, their WhatsApp chat group, and many things that are in the pipeline that if only we had funding for, hey Ritu, we'd be able to put in place. So if anyone would like to donate after you've seen this event, then please feel free. Every little helps to go towards the aims and objectives of the organisation. Now, a bit about me. I'm Carol Edmondson. That's it. I'm Carol Edmondson, and I'm a volunteer for Kaushalya UK. In fact, 4 events a month. The Let's Talk Happiness, which Susan attends, as it's an in-person event in Warsaw, and also the global, which we're on now, Women Empowerment event, and the mixed event, which is called Men Are From Mars, where we have 2 male and 2 female speakers. And that takes place on the first Thursday of every month. There's also another volunteer in Zina Kula, who organizes workshops. So speakers, if you want to do a workshop, I will pass your details to Zina, who will make contact with you. And that's enough from me and about me. I'd like to hand over to Ritu now.
Thank you so much, Carol. A very warm welcome, everyone. Good evening, because
Good evening
to people who are in the UK, and afternoon, morning from wherever else you are, and you're in a different time zone. Carol is the lead volunteer for Kaushalya UK, and Carol is not just Carol Edmondson. She's a multi-dimensional personality. She does a lot for the organization, which I am personally very grateful for. Her time, her effort, and you guys have spoken to her, my speakers have spoken to her one-to-one, so you know where she's coming from. She's equally passionate about the work that Kaushalya UK stands for, and it's a blessing to have Carol at the forefront of everything she's agreed to do for us. So a big thank you, Carol. Never ever say again, I'm Carol Edmondson and that's that. She's an entrepreneur, she's a leader, she's a community person, she's a wonderful human being, and she deserves any kind of praise, all sorts of things good things anybody can say about a person. So thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. Carol has very rightly said that Kaushalya UK is an organization that is thoroughly 100% dedicated to women. And yes, money sometimes, it's a funny thing, gets in the way, but the good thing is with the efforts of people like Carol and Zina and Nikki, who's on board with us today, because Nikki has very kindly offered us workshops in the past, and bless her, she continues to offer them as and when she is available to do so. And We are just very fortunate to have people on board who would come along and support our thought process, our work, our vision, and our mission. And I'm grateful to all the speakers who have agreed to be here today with us, because without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. And I'm also grateful for all the people who are here to listen to these phenomenal women, because without you as well, we wouldn't be here. So a very warm welcome to everyone. Just a little note around International Women's Day month. People continue to say, and I have come across these statements a couple of times, where people have said things like, women are naturally empowered. So what are these empowerment organizations doing? Why are they harping on about it? What work are they actually doing? Who are they empowering? Because women are naturally empowered beings. And I 100% agree with that statement. Yes, we are. All women are. Every woman is. However, the journey we have through this world sometimes gets so crucial and so difficult that we forget about our core, about our real strength, about our empowered individuality. And this world sets up in ways where we feel disempowered, or we get into a space where we forget who we're supposed to be actually. What is it that our value system was before we went through this journey? So our work is simply to bring back that memory and fuel that power and pump it up and amplify it. We're not creating something that does not exist already. We are just sending reminders. And these wonderful stories that our speakers bring here to us, they're absolutely priceless. Because after you've listened to these speakers today, you'd agree with me 100%, ladies, that these stories fuel you up and they remind you, oh, I can relate to this. I am a part of this story as well somewhere. And that is what we are doing. And so very warm welcome. Enjoy all the stories here. Take what you need and pass it on. That's all we ask for. Thank you so much. Carol, I'll give it back to you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ritu. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our first speaker of the evening. And if you could all mute your mics, I think you're all, Ranjit, if you can mute your mic, that would be fantastic. Or I can actually do that. So.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wonderful. Okay, I am now going to introduce you to, Laleh. Right. So Laleh, Ph.D, Dr. Laleh, in fact, is a cancer research scientist, nutrition specialist, podcaster, author of Amazon bestseller, The Confidence of Yes. Also, a professional, professional bodybuilder. Come on, no messing with Dr. Laleh. She's also the co-founder and CEO of Dynamic Natural Advantage Wellness, DNA. I can't wait to hear more. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Can I share my screen? Okay, great. So can everyone see my screen? Hands up. And if I advance, I hope that the slides advance. Sometimes Zoom doesn't let me do that, but let's see. So I'm into full screen. Please interrupt me if the slides don't advance. So thank you so much for having me. This is an honor to be here. I'm Dr. Laleh, also known as the Food Doctor. And I'm here today to share with you 3 secrets to reclaim your health with food. I'm just making sure that my slides are advancing. Yes, hopefully it is. So I have this image of myself with my father standing at the beach, with my father being the strongest person I have ever known. And I was about 7 years old at the Caspian Sea beach back in Iran, where I was born. My father growing up was everything to me. He was the parent. He was the safe place to be. He was the hardest working person I know. He would work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still come home and manage to go over our homework and make sure that everything was right. He never rested a day, and he constantly was available to help everybody. And he was truly not only my father, but my best friend. I grew up in a household where he was basically doing everything as a parent. My mother, without going into it, was different, to put it politely. She had a life of her own. So you could imagine my world came crashing down when my father was diagnosed with advanced stage cancer, just about when I turned 13. Before that, I had decided that I was going to become a scientist because I wanted to cure disease. My father died on my 15th birthday. He was 49. And that is the day I became obsessed with cancer. So I had to do everything I could to become a research scientist to fight cancer. So exactly 20 years later, fleeing the country that was going through war and political upheavals of Iran, 2 countries later, and 20 years later, I became officially a research scientist focusing on cancer biology and cancer immunology. You think, or everyone thought, that at that point my mission was accomplished. But there was always something missing. I couldn't erase that image of my dad on his deathbed, literally deteriorating and withering away at 49 kilos. Most of you are in Britain, so you do that. You know that. For those of my friends in the US, he was about 100 pounds. And he was just basically wasting away. And I just couldn't erase that image out of my head. I wanted to have this image that I'm showing to you all from my dad, his strong, healthy self. But something was missing. I just kept thinking there must be a better way to not wait for people to get cancer or disease in general and actually try to prevent it. So I started shifting my focus after many years of clinical research and clinical trials on cancer. I started using my clinical thinking and problem solving skills as a scientist to switch my attention to prevention. And I was a witness to the toxic side effects of chemotherapy and other drugs, and I just couldn't live with myself going in that route. So I started focusing my passion onto prevention. So from a scientist to a nutritional healing coach, I started thinking about focusing more on disease prevention rather than putting a Band-Aid on it, really focusing on a person's overall health and well-being in every way for the rest of their life, not just the disease or one aspect of their health. And providing everyone with the education and the information and the tools that they need and a trusted support system so that they can adopt a lifestyle, not for short term, not while they're sick, but for life. So after many years of working full-time as an academic in cancer research, I finally broke away and started doing this full-time in 2018. And I have never looked back. I am living the happiest life I have because I'm doing what I absolutely love to do every single day. And today I want to share with you my 3 powerful principles. If I get through everything, hopefully that will be great. But I'm going to start with the magic pill. So there are the magic pill, the honest accountability, and the unique factor. So what is the magic pill? So everyone, I'd like you to close your eyes and play with me here. Just close your eyes. And imagine that I'm going to hand you a magic pill that's going to take all the pains and discomfort and illness away. You have no illness, no pain, no discomfort, no medications to take. You sleep like a baby. You're happy. You can move about and do whatever you want, whenever you want, without any limitations, physically or emotionally. Just feel it in your body and your soul. Now, I want you to open your eyes. What if I took that magic pill away from you after 3 months or 6 months or 2 years? And now everything comes back. You have to take medication, you have pain, you have illness, you have discomfort, you're not sleeping well. The fact of the matter is, no one wants good health for a short period of time. We all want good health for life. So the problem is that nowadays with the healthcare system is we have a sick care system, and everything is quick fixes. And quick fixes are normally drastic and come with drastic side effects. The bad news, ladies, is that there are no magic pills. The magic is you. The good news is that you can take control. All of us can. So I never forget Gail. In fact, I still talk to her every day. Gail came to me in 2016 when she was told that she had 3 months to live. And her only option was to participate in a phase 1 clinical trial where her only chance was to help other people. This wasn't going to help her. It was just going to possibly help other people. So she decided to not do that. And she came to me after only 6 months working together. Gail had her tests and scans done, and her tests were all negative, to a point that her oncologist wrote this to her, and I quote, "Unfortunately, there is no cancer in your body, so you do not qualify for this phase 1 clinical trial," end quote. Mind you, I apologize on behalf of that oncologist to Gail. He decided to take control. Exactly this 2-3 months ago, Gail celebrated her 60th birthday. And this is Gail. And she runs or rides her bike every year at a cancer fundraiser here in New Hampshire. In her own words, she said, "When I was given 3 months to live, Laleh gave me my life back." I hardly believe that I gave her her life back. What I did give Gail was I gave her a map, a GPS, if you will. I put her in the driver's seat. She drove to her destination. She didn't give in to that expiration date. She decided to take control and take charge of her health and her life. So what was 3 months to live is now seven years later. Next, I want to share with you about honest accountability. So again, I want you to imagine or remember way back when you were in elementary school. We all have that one teacher that we looked up to and admired and just wanted to be like them. And that one teacher was also the tough one, always was hard on you, right? You all remember you all had that somewhere way back when elementary school and middle school. Now imagine if you didn't do well, didn't do your homework, or didn't study, and then you got an F on an exam. That teacher, how would he or he respond? When I recall my teacher that I look up to, and I still remember her to this day, was if I didn't work hard enough and I did poorly on my exam, she would call me on it. She would scold me, and she would say, "You know better. You should know better. You can do this. You're smart. You just are being lazy." She wouldn't tell me, "It's okay, you failed and got an F. That's fine. There'll be another exam." And I thank her for that every single day. When it comes to our health these days, unfortunately, the attitude of most of the people we kind of look up to or rely on advice is this: if you didn't take your medication, if you didn't take care of your health, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do, most likely what you hear is, "It's okay. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Next time, tomorrow is another day." Well, I have to tell you this. I don't believe in letting people believe that failing is okay. And I believe in giving yourself 100% every single time. I want to tell you about Sarah. Sarah was obese, very obese, and in fact had lots of comorbidities, including metabolic syndrome. When she went to a health and wellness center here in our area, they told her that her only option was to undergo a bariatric surgery. She was from Britain, actually, and she said with her beautiful British accent, absolutely bloody hell no, I'm not doing that. You're not touching my body. So she came to me and she said, I need help. So we worked together. She did phenomenal. She did really well. I did her exercise and nutrition program for her, and she was doing really, really good until I noticed that in her weekly check-ins, the weight wasn't coming off anymore. And in fact, it kind of started creeping back up. So I said, Sarah, what's going on? She goes, I don't know. I'm frustrated. I'm doing everything you tell me and it's just not working. I don't know why. And I said, well, you sure you're doing everything right? Yes. I said, okay, let's do an experiment together. She said, yeah. I said, why don't you take a picture of every plate that you eat every single day, every meal, for 3 days? That's great. I'll do that. And she was a great photographer and she made beautiful plates, by the way. So only a day and a half into it, she broke down. She said, Laleh, I just realized I wasn't paying attention. No, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I just kind of lost track of things. And when you made me take pictures, that's when I realized, no, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Moral of the story is, I could have told Sarah or ignored the fact that she was at a plateau and say, that's all right, you're not perfect. Tomorrow's another day. I wasn't going to do that. The fact is I called her on it and I made her actually understand on her own what was going on. And that is the honest accountability that I offer every single one of my clients. Now, if you're somebody who wants someone to take your money and basically watch you fail and look the other way and don't call you on it, I'm not your person. I always say I may hurt you temporarily with the truth, but I will never comfort you with a lie. And that is the tough love accountability that I give my clients. And this is, in her own words, reversing my metabolic syndrome with honest accountability. Sarah is a mom, registered nurse, and she's from England. And this is Sarah before when she was suggested to do bariatric surgery, and this is Sarah today. So honest accountability is what I give my clients, even if it may hurt them at the point, but at least it will help them understand what they need to do to succeed. Lastly, I'm going to talk about the unique factor. So how many of you are in this world? Just one. There's only one of each and every one of you in this world. There is no one like you. There will never be another one of you in this world, correct? Right. So we need to embrace and we need to appreciate that uniqueness about every single one of us. But again, when it comes to our health, we're almost always put into a pool, and it's a cookie cutter style. It's a one size fits all. If you have diabetes, you have 4 or 5 different medications, and that's about it. If one fails, then you go to the other. If it has a side effect, you get another one. If you have to look into some sort of a healthy lifestyle, there are cookie cutter styles, but none of those really take you into account and your uniqueness and your DNA, your likes and dislikes, your circumstances, your financial situation, your home, that everything is unique about you. And that is absolutely important. Now, when it comes to uniqueness, Steve is as unique as they come. Steve is a litigation attorney, and he had been suffering from Crohn's disease for 35 years. He has seen over 15 different specialists, including GI doctors and podiatrists and neurologists, and you name it, he has seen them. And he keeps going, getting a little bit better. They put a Band-Aid on his issue, and then it would basically come back. During COVID, first months of COVID, when we had to shut down here, everyone did in the world, Steve ended up in the hospital with bleeding. He was trembling. He was not able to even rest or sleep. He was dehydrated. He was in bouts of diarrhea, totally sick. His chiropractor, who is someone who works with me closely, said, Steve, you got to see Dr. Laleh. And so we had a quick conversation, and during that conversation, basically, he was very skeptical because I told him that about 90% of all of the issues that he's been facing is because of the healthy foods he's eating. I give a 90-minute consult for the first phase of a client. And during the 30 minutes of the first 90 minutes of that consult, Steve was fighting me tooth and nail, arguing with me, everything I said. And talking about why he was drinking alcohol so much and it wasn't right and all of this and that. And finally, he said, look, Dr. Laleh, with all due respect, this isn't going to work. You want to tell me that 35 years and 15 specialists, not a single person in this last 35 years ever told me the fundamental causes of my health issues are the food I'm eating. I said, you are correct. Nobody tells you that. The irony is, with a GI issue, no one talks about food. But you've already paid for your program. It's non-refundable. Get together for a little bit. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Give me 4 weeks. He said, okay, 4 weeks. And if it doesn't work, if I don't feel relief, we shake hands, we go our separate ways. Great. So we did that. And Steve, being an attorney, was determined to prove me wrong. Well, this is Steve's own words. Seriously, within less than a week, every symptom I had was significantly reduced. My bathroom visits became normal. My trembling was gone. My balance returned and I was hydrated, and sleep was incredibly better. 35 years of feeling really, really awful, and now over 3 months of feeling wonderful. So what changed was that Steve was unique, as I told you, unique in fact, down to the point that he was admittedly alcoholic and he openly, and I didn't tell him, you can't drink. How can I do that? I just had to determine what type of alcohol is less detrimental to his health. It came to that level of person becoming so intimately involved with a person's unique personality and DNA and biology to be able to help themselves in the best way that's for their body and for their biology. So, in fact, there is no one size fits all for anybody, and everyone is unique. So we can't expect what works for one person is going to work for another person. And that is why I appreciate so much about our uniqueness. Every single one of us is unique and beautiful in our own way, and we have to be treated as such. So to wrap it up, there is no magic pill. The magic is you. You just have to take control. And you deserve to have honest accountability, not somebody who will just tell you what to do, and when you don't succeed, they look the other way and continue to take your money. Somebody whose sole priority is your true health and well-being, and they will do everything they can to help you succeed. And finally, you are all unique in your own way, and you deserve to be treated as such in every aspect of life, whether it be your health, your well-being, your mental health, your job, your whatever it is about you. You deserve to be treated as unique as you are. So today, I want to give you all a gift from me, and that is this is Steve, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to share his picture. He is a loving husband, father, and attorney, author of the book, I Hereby Resign, and he's my biggest fan. Here is a link to that gift. It's called the 7-Day Healthy for Life Blueprint. I guarantee you, if you follow this 7-day blueprint, you will feel better 85%, no matter where you are in your health journey. So this is my gift to you. Go to that and claim it, and you will receive the downloadable. And if you want to get in touch with me, here's our website, and this is our email, which I will share in the chat in a minute. And with that, I will gladly take any questions you may have.
Well, actually, we'll save the questions right till the end, so the speakers don't run out of time. But
okay,
Laleh, what an amazing start. Amazing.
Thank you.
I resonate with everything that you said. We are not carbon copies of each other, and yeah, the magic is within us.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Love, 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 love you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, you can write comments in the chat or save for afterwards when all the speakers have spoken. Oh my goodness. Right, let me just remove spotlight. Awesome. Well, oh, let me just mute my sister. So, what an amazing start we've had. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So now, super excited to introduce you to our second speaker, who is Yvonne Bignell. And who is Yvonne Bignell? Well, a catalyst for change. She's a breath of fresh air in the extraordinary way. She helps women 50 plus to reconnect with life through radical and genuine self-care. Yvonne has spent 38 years in and around the world of health and fitness in her career as a fitness figure competitor, in business, and as a pastime. A self-care warrior, an encourager and inspirer, Yvonne is today an award-winning women's health advocate, published author, an international presenter, and UK country chair for G100 Healthcare and Wellness Wing, not ring, wing. She supports, encourages, and inspires women to prioritize their health, one bite-sized action at a time. She explores the thoughts, behaviors, and habits often born out of guilt, gender expectations, and reinforced narratives with curiosity, not judgment, discarding the unhelpful whilst reclaiming innate power through the creation of new patterns, restoring a sense of self outside of societal expectations. Yvonne is a nature lover at heart. And with that said, I turn the floor over to you, Yvonne.
Marvelous. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you. And thank you for that wonderful presentation. It was great. Loved it. Thank you so much. I have got a presentation to share. Let me just make sure. Right, checking. Can everybody see the screen? Fantastic. Okay, so wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, Carol, for the opportunity. And what I want to talk about tonight is my passion, which is self-care. And it's called the self-care dilemma because so often I hear this thing around time. I'd love to take care of myself, but it's about the time. And I'm sure if we did a poll right now and I asked all of you, if you believe self-care is important, you'd probably all say yes, of course. Why would you even ask, right? And yet, as a self-care coach, I wish I could count how many times I hear this. I'd love to have more time for self-care, or I wish I had time for self-care. And the biggest frustration to me when I hear these things is that women are literally saying that the reason they cannot look after their health is because of time. That makes no sense. Now, I appreciate that time is precious. We need to treat it with respect because when it's gone, we do not get it back. However, in the same breath, I want to add that time is fluid. We don't run out of time until we leave this planet. So what if time isn't really the issue? What if it just appears to be the problem? So in this next 15 to 20 minutes, I want to talk to you about self-care and really get a definition of what it is. Goodness, hit home with me so hard, and I hope it does for you too. I want to highlight 5 sources that I believe truly affects our ability to prioritize our self-care, provide a 5-step action plan, and also reflect on it's definitely something we want to be passing on. So me, who am I? as Carol said, I'm a self-care physical intelligence coach. So I talk a lot and I work a lot with the body and how we can tap into our bodies to re-energize ourselves. I'm a trainer. I've had 38 years experience in the health and fitness industry, ex-corporate soft skills trainer, award-winning women's health advocate, and as Carol said again, UK chair for G100 Healthcare and meaningful conversation on women's health and well-being. It's critical, and I do believe we're at a critical time. So let's look at defining self-care first of all, because I always find it interesting. Usually when I talk about self-care, the first thing people say, oh yes, about going to the hairdressers, getting your nails done. I'm like, hey, that's all gorgeous and wonderful. But let's get to the real meaning of self-care. So the International Self-Care Foundation states that self-care is the time that you have to meet your needs outside of the time. Let's just think that the average person sees a doctor 3 times a year, maybe more, but let's just say roughly 10 minutes. That's half an hour. The rest of the time is for self-care. Half an hour with the doctors is not going to package your health up beautifully. The rest of that time, some of that time, must be invested in self. Now, Dr. Christine Menick from Psychology Today says self-care is not self-indulgence or self-pampering, but choosing behaviours that balance the effects of emotional and physical stresses. And we know that every single day we pick up stressors. Someone steps on our foot, someone toots the car horn, all kinds of things. The bus is late, the train is late. These are those little stressors that build up in the body. And if we don't do anything to disperse them, they continue to build up. And then the final definition that I want to share with you is from the World Health Organization. Do for themselves to establish and maintain health and to prevent and deal with illness, and that it's a very broad concept encompassing hygiene, nutrition, lifestyle, environmental factors, socioeconomic factors, and self-medication. And I think we can grasp from those definitions that self-care is critical. It's a necessity. It is not a nice to do. So whilst it may be beautiful and lovely to go and spend some time in a spa, that is not what self-care is at its root. And I remember hearing this quote, and I think that Michelle Obama just captured it so perfectly in terms of the challenge that we face as women when we talk about self-care. And it's on the screen, but I want to read it out because I want it to get inside of you. Many of us, we have a hard time putting ourselves on our own priority list, let alone at the top of it. And that's what happens when it comes to our health as women. We are so busy giving and doing for others that we almost feel guilty to take that time out for ourselves. And she goes on to say, we are trained that way. It's not something that's going to happen. I heard that on a video. I was like, oh, I completely believe that we have been trained. Do a little bit of research myself and connected with some of the women that I hear me. Can you still hear me?
Yes, but you're breaking up badly. I don't know if
Okay.
switching off your video.
I'm not sure if my Yeah, let me do that. Let me try that, because let's have a look. Okay, let's try and see where we get. This was the thing that I was dreading. Okay, so I decided to do a little bit of research for myself, and I reached out to some of my colleagues and contacts on LinkedIn, some women, and I asked them some questions around self-care. And 50 responded, so I was really pleased with that. Now, 49 out of the 50 women I spoke to said that they absolutely believed that self-care was critical. It was important. The one person who didn't believe that it was important wrote to me, and she said, actually, family, work, friends, home, all of those things come first for me. And then she said, as I write this to you, I suddenly am questioning why. Light bulb moment for her. Why? Then we had 37. Okay, I don't think that it's the slides might not work. Oh, there we go. There it is. 37 out of 50 quoted time as the reason they were unable to prioritize their self-care. And they just felt that all the other responsibilities got in the way. 7 out of 50 didn't believe they deserved self-care time. Mind-blowing. They described themselves as people pleasers, and that they were really worried what others would think of them if they took time out for themselves. And then 6 out of 50 said 100% we prioritize our self-care. What was interesting though, 3 of those 6 only started to prioritize self-care after brick wall first, before they realized that self-care was a priority. And I think from Michelle Obama's speech and from doing the research, that underlying reasons and issues around self-care and why time was being used as a scapegoat. And so the conditioning and the training that affects our thoughts, behaviors and habits have come from somewhere. And I just want to share 5 things that I believe are part of that. The first one, the patriarchal construct, the societal framework created, whether we see it or not. The patriarchy is a social and ideological construct built by men for the benefit of men, white men in particular, and where women are seen as inferior to men. And Professor Sylvia Darby goes on to say, it is a social system in which the role of the male as the primary authority figure is central to social organization, where males hold authority over women, children, and property, with defining character stereotypes which strengthen the unjust power relations between men and women. Men are seen as strong, feel independent, unemotional, logical, and confident, whereas women are weak, dependent, less than a man, nice, quiet, do as they're told, and are here to procreate and serve. Wow. Now, we know that women haven't stood still and just taken all of this as is. We've had the benefit of the suffragettes fighting for women's rights. We've had the benefit of the feminist movement of the 70s, looking for equality in pay and job roles. However, the underlying expectations remain the same, and much of the conditioning from it remains embedded in the way that we behave. It has been a powerful training with absolutely nothing in the patriarchal framework that teaches us or tells us to value ourselves as women, only our benefit to others. Another factor is cultural and religious influence. Now, depending on where we are, where we were born in the world, there are yet more rules around what it means to be a woman and how we show up. And the World Health Report states categorically that women's health is inextricably linked to their status in society. It benefits from equality and suffers from discrimination. Today, the status and well-being of countless millions of women worldwide remains tragically low. As a result, human well-being suffers. And that does not look good for future generations. And this again feeds into how we have been devalued and why so many women do not value their greatness, their uniqueness, or their health. Another one of the factors is the role models and the life influences that we've had. The people who have influenced us from our childhood. What were we told? Who brought us up? What were they telling us? What were the messages that we were getting from them? What did we observe? What did we see in terms of relationships between men and women? What was that communication? Our siblings, peers, teachers, people in authority, all of those people have created messages within us that we are living through. And for me, this is such an interesting one because my mum and dad, sadly, we lost my dad in 2013, but my mum and dad were such a team. And when I think about the role modeling that I saw in my home, my mum and dad played from the same book. When my mum was at work, my dad looked after us. When my dad was at work, my mum looked after us. My mum may have done more of the cooking, but my dad did more of the ironing. There was shared responsibility throughout. And for me, that was my normal. For me, that's what I thought relationships look like. So it was a little bit of a wake-up call when I started dating, and there were a lot of other expectations were coming at me, and I just could not relate to them. It was an interesting time. And this isn't about blaming those people and some of the messages that we got from them if they weren't helpful, but it's about being aware that some of those messages that we got from the people who influenced us and role modeled for us are not helpful. And if we're aware of that, then we can make informed adjustments and changes. Okay, this one is us, women. Women. When we demonize women who choose to do something differently, we are feeding into the system. We need to really hold each other with everything everybody else does, but we need to support each other, because the minute we start getting to comparing and the minute we start dishonoring each other's choices, we are bringing that trained element of ourselves into play. And not only are we hurting those women, we are in turn hurting ourselves. So we need to learn to be more supportive of each other. And the fifth thing that I want to mention is climate change. And this one really only came to me quite recently. But there have been so many studies that have shown that women and women's health will be more highly affected than men's as climate change takes its grip. It shows that women across the globe, so not just in countries where we feel that, well, it's going to happen there. This is going to happen everywhere, that women will suffer the most for mental health issues. They will have to deal with partner violence and food insecurity following extreme weather events. And Kim Van Dalen reflects their standing in societies around the world rather than any physiological difference between men and women. So if you think about it, we are like in the middle of a boxing ring and there's stuff coming from every corner. And if we are not protecting our health, who is? Who is going to ensure that we stay well? We have a real responsibility to prioritize our self-care. How do we do that? And compassion. Let's talk more care and stop operating on autopilot, living our old ways of being. Let's connect with our values and really create health-aligned habits with clear boundaries that protect our needs. Communicate our needs to our loved ones. They are not mind readers. They really aren't. We need to share what our needs are and really ask for the support that we need to ensure that those needs are met, knowing that everyone will benefit when we do so. And build a support network. Get a network around you. Don't be afraid of connecting with others who are in the same position or a completely different one, reaching out to those and really getting the support you need. And when I think about building a support network, it always reminds me of that film, The Single Mums Club, for those who may have seen it, where these women from such diverse backgrounds come together because they're all single mums and they find a way to support each other and encourage each other. And then implement your self-care plan. Don't leave it to chance. Be firm with yourself and treat your self-care like an appointment with the doctor. Most of us wouldn't think twice about making sure we go to our doctor's appointment. And yet we quite happily put our own self-care aside for everything else. And I believe the role of time in self-care is acknowledging how valuable you are and that you are deserving of the time you set aside to meet your needs. Because ultimately, how you treat yourself shows and tells other people how to treat you and potentially how to treat themselves. And so we have the baton in our hands and we have to say, what will we role model into our self-care legacy? And here you can see a picture of my son, my daughter-in-law, and my grandson. And I know that I want them to understand how important they are. I want to educate them in self-care. I want them to know that each of them needs to prioritize their well-being. And that when they take care of themselves, and when we take care of ourselves, uninterrupted, guarded, demonstrating our value, it helps them and it helps others. And when we are doing it, our children see it. They don't just hear the words, they see it and they experience it and appreciate the importance of time for their needs too. And when you kind of sit and you share that with them and talk to them about boundaries and meeting needs, you really reinforce that message that lets them realize that that relationship they have with themselves, the longest relationship we each have in our lifetimes, is crucial. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be fed. It needs to be looked after and cared for. And so as I draw to the end, what I want to say is that self-care is a right and time is not the enemy. It's about unpicking stories, the old scripts that no longer serve us and that keep us feeling small, and actually embracing our greatness, our power, and everything that we can do when we feel powerful. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we are certainly being fed this evening. Oh my word. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't wait for the Q&As at the end. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you. Do you want to stop sharing screen now, Yvonne? Wonderful. Okay, so now let me just spotlight. Now we have Nikki Sikon. I hope I've pronounced that correctly.
Yes.
Yay. Nikki Sikon is a motivational speaker who shares the challenges she faced as a first-generation Indian girl growing up and born in a conformed society. The unacknowledged anxieties and worries this brought, and how, through personal development, she was able to heal her past, to not only believe and manifest her dreams, but inspire others to do the same. Nikki is passionate about breaking down the conditioning society places on us all, the mental baggage we carry, and talks about how we can reaffirm and create the life we all desire. Nikki is also a Reiki healer, Drew yoga teacher, and director of a successful lifestyle business. She has 2 daughters and a wonderful marriage, and lives a life of gratitude. She loves giving back to others by making yoga accessible to all, and spends a lot of time volunteering. Yay! Nikki, the floor is yours.
I feel like Dr. Laleh, yeah, the speakers have been speaking directly to me. I could really relate to all of that, and I was sitting there thinking, yeah, self-care was something that I really wanted to touch on today as well. So I think it's absolutely brilliant, and it's such a pleasure to join you all and have the opportunity to speak today. So yeah, I have a lifestyle business, and essentially it's a recruitment company, but we wanted to create a lifestyle business so that we could do things on the side. And so originally I came across Reiki and then Drew yoga about 12, 14 years ago, and I became a Drew yoga teacher. And I just knew how brilliant it was for mental health, as well as physical, and it transformed the way I felt about myself, and I was able to unroot a lot of experiences that essentially and trauma that I had stored in my body, and from doing certain postures I was able to relieve a lot of those. And so having this lifestyle business is essentially, I wrote an affirmation sort of 12 years ago, and the affirmation was that I would create this lifestyle business so that I could offer Reiki and Drew yoga to people that needed it the most. And I often find people that need it the most are the ones who don't get funding for it, or really can't afford it because they've got to make other choices. And so really what I wanted to do was to make it accessible to as many people as possible. And then of course I had to grow the business, and then I had children, and so different priorities came in, and I went back to retrain, and I'm teaching yoga again. And it's really bizarre. I'll often sit there and I'll be overwhelmed with gratitude, thinking, the younger version that I was of myself would never ever have possibly dreamed that I would be living the life that I am. And I'm overcome with so much gratitude to share this space with so many women, and just to have so many incredible women in my life too. Like, it really fills my heart. And it's not just unique to me though, and I think that's where it requires platforms like this for Ritu to get like-minded women together to say this really isn't unique to me, and we can all affirm and we can all create the life that we want. It doesn't mean you have to go do something radical and you want to go and teach yoga voluntarily in XYZ places, but ultimately it's just about thinking about what we desire. And having grown up as a first-born British Indian girl in the UK, most of us, when we're born, and certainly my relatives in other countries of the world, you know, they were born with the view that you're a daughter, and so you need to be taught the life skills to become a daughter-in-law, and you need to be taught the life skills to look after a grown man, you know, because the grown man you marry will be incapable of looking after himself. So you need to have the skills to look after this person and his family and then your children, and you are never, ever, ever taught you really need to look after yourself. You know, there's no one more important than you in this world, and there will always be a ton of people that you need to look after. But how do we really look after ourselves? So it's really brilliant that the speakers before me have spoke so in depth about this. I haven't done a presentation or anything like that, but really I was awful at looking after myself. You know, growing up I had so many anxieties. There were certain ways I had to talk in. I wasn't allowed to swear, you know, I wasn't allowed to cut my hair, or I wasn't allowed to go to certain places at a certain age. Of course, my brothers, you know, had absolutely no issues with where they went, what they did. They had no reputation that they had to protect. It was all on the daughter of the house. And it wasn't that it was done from a horrible point of view, it's from an overprotective point of view. And, you know, there's no blame there. It's just recognizing that I had these anxieties, I had these beliefs about myself that actually weren't true. You know, on top of all of these things, I had my own insecurities, you know. I felt that I was goofy, or I had a big nose, or, you know, I didn't fit in with everybody, all these different things that we tell ourselves as to why we are not good enough. And unfortunately, that pushes us into the wrong environments because we look for confirmation in the wrong places. And really, all the confirmation we need is to go within. And I was so blessed that at a period of my life, my dad had a nervous breakdown. You know, I had an incredible childhood. I had so much happiness. We had such joy in our lives. But just growing up, there was this pressure of being a certain way, you know. And at the age of 18, if someone asked me, you know, what I thought my future was going to be, I literally thought, okay, by about the age of 22, 23, I'll probably be married and I'll be looking to have children. That wasn't what I desired for myself. It's what the society and the community that I grew up in dictated what my life should look like. And I know that so many, you know, fellow sisters of mine, you know, we all were put in very difficult situations often because that was what the goal was, and that was what was planned for us from the moment we were born. And, you know, I have cousins who are in certain parts of the world, and that is what they are told their future is going to be. And it's so sad because you kind of think that, okay, that was my generation, and actually the generations ahead of me, they've got so many more opportunities. But actually, no, not necessarily. We are so unaware that this exists so much outside of our own circles. And it's so important that we have these conversations because it isn't over. People are still living with these mindsets. Men are still incapable of looking after themselves. They're still heading into relationships expecting someone to complete them. A woman doesn't need to be completed. We are complete. We are born almost to go and complete and look after somebody else. And, you know, we need to really stand up and recognize we are incredible beings, and we need to think about our desires. We need to know that we are not here to support everyone else to achieve their dreams. We are also allowed to dream. We are also allowed to have desires, and our dreams and our desires are more important than others because we want to change the future. We are the change, and we need to lead the way. And actually what I wanted to really sort of talk about today, there's such darkness in the world right now. You know, there's so much for so long. Everything that's happening in Ukraine, the cost of living, everyone going on strikes, there's just so much of it, and it feels like this winter's been quite a long winter. I haven't been great at self-care, and I've been very aware, and it's just been the craziness of life, and so I've been trying to get better at looking after my own well-being. And although I teach yoga and I do all these incredible things, we still need to do more for ourselves. And even though we think we're so good at it, even the ones of us that are good at it really aren't great. And there's always room for improvement. And I just think, how are we coping? You know, people really aren't coping at the moment. And we need to be better at coping, and we need to have these conversations, and we need to be able to express to each other, do you know what, I'm really not coping right now. And we're very fortunate that we have people that we can lean on, but actually the people that we lean on, they never view themselves from the eyes that we look at them. So the people that I would turn to, you know, they are the most amazing women ever. And I did a talk a while ago and I shared it with many of them, and I asked them what they loved about themselves, and I kid you not, not one single one of those women were able to tell me what they loved about themselves. And just recently I was having a conversation with one of them, and she said, Nikki, I still struggle. And I reeled off a list of all the things I loved about her. But isn't it amazing that we don't know how to describe ourselves? If we don't know how to describe ourselves and we don't know how to love ourselves, how can we possibly know what we desire? What kind of life do we want? You know, had I asked or believed, if I had held on to those limiting beliefs that I had as an 18-year-old Indian girl, that I was going to go get married and my life and future was going to be about serving somebody else's priorities, I would never be leading the life that I am now. And when I wrote that affirmation, you know, I completely believe in manifesting our dreams. And when I wrote that affirmation, I fully believed and I knew that this was my purpose and this was something that fulfilled me. And when I think about fulfillment, it's not about making some radical changes. Fulfillment is having peace in our hearts. And what gives us peace in our hearts? How will we ever have peace in our hearts if we just can't even acknowledge ourselves? How can we make sure the generations ahead of us do better? They don't have the pressures that we had. We know we won't bring our children up to think that they are just born to get married. You know, we will promote their dreams, or they'll believe in all of their dreams. But why aren't we believing in our dreams? Because that is the best way that they will learn. We pick up so many anxieties. The world tells us, you know, there's just so much pressure, and we really need to think about taking time out. What do we love about ourselves? What life do we want to create? What do we want to change about our lives? It's never too late. You know, you can start today. I'll have a bad month or so and I'll just go back to, okay, what are my goals? Where do I want to head to? And unfortunately, we're so consumed with social media and doing other things to fulfill our space, where when we could sit down and think for a few moments, okay, what do I desire in my life? We don't think about it. Why don't we think about what we want to achieve? Why are we constantly chasing somebody else's dream? Why are we constantly supporting everybody else to achieve their goals? But why are we never thinking about, what do I need? I mean, you know, just a silly conversation. I was saying to someone in my family, I just really feel like I need to rest. And immediately they're like, oh, but I'm not asking you to do anything. Or, you know, and I said, it's not a judgment on anyone else. I just know I need to rest. And it's amazing because if we try to vocalize it, sometimes we can get shut down. So you just stop vocalizing it. But we have to prioritize ourselves. Things are getting harder. Things are getting darker. And that's why everyone needs to shine their light. Everyone needs to look after themselves, because we need to create this light in the world, and we need it to amplify, and we need it to push out all of the darkness in our own lives and in everybody else's. So honestly, the things that I did was I focused on what I love about myself. And even though, you know, sometimes I was, you know, exhausted, or I was focusing on supporting other people because I was the worst for it. You know, I worried and I had anxieties about every person that had a problem in their life. I felt like I could fix it, and often I could, and I would get involved, but to the detriment of my own health. But actually, yoga helped me to ground myself. It helped me to heal a lot of the emotional baggage that I was storing in my body. And you know, it's amazing what you can do even just online. And you know, I just hope that everyone gets inspiration today to actually make some form of a change, to go and do something for themselves, not just for today, but just think what your desires are and think about what is it that you love, what is it you want to do for yourself. I mean, my ultimate goal, and whenever I pray, is I just want peace in my heart and peace in my home. That is my desire for life, because there'll always be things that we will say, oh, I don't like this about myself, or I want to change that. Why do we want to change? You know, we go through life disliking ourselves to the extent that we can't shout about what we love about ourselves. You know, if someone asks you, what do you love about yourselves? You should be able to stand on a stage and say, oh, I love myself because I step up for everybody. I'm this and I'm that. But we struggle so much, and we shouldn't. We really shouldn't. It should be the easiest thing. You can describe all of your family, all of your friends, you can describe everybody you've ever met in your life, but you just can't describe yourself. And I think it has to start there. We have to talk about what we want, our desires, instead of our fears. We have to stop we've got to stop ignoring the calling that we get to take better care of ourselves. And, you know, I often actually talk to my angels, and, you know, it's my subconscious mind or whatever it is that you resonate with. But, you know, if I have a goal I want to achieve, I know that to achieve certain things, you've got to put in the effort. So I'll start waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do it. And I know at 5 o'clock, I'm going to think, oh no, I just want to turn my alarm off and just have another hour in bed. But then I'll say to my subconscious mind, Nikki, please, angels, please, will you make sure I get out of bed at 5 o'clock? And it's amazing how your subconscious mind will kick your ass into gear and get you out of bed at 5 o'clock. So just ask yourself, the way somebody would ask you, can you do this for me? Just ask yourself, please just help me do this for me. Put it out into the universe, and the universe will deliver. The universe is abundant, and we all just need to plug in and achieve all of our dreams and our desires, because we all can. This is not unique to me. It's not unique to any one person. We can all achieve and have the dreams and desires that we all hope for. You know, what you focus on is what you will end up achieving, and you will draw into your life. So count your blessings, focus on your dreams and your desires. Don't ignore yourself. You know, honestly, when I think about my life, I can't comprehend I'm living the life that I am, because the versions of myself that I have been previously would never have dreamed the life that I currently live. And if I was limited by that person that I was, I would never be where I am. And I know that wherever I'm going to go in the future is going to be even more beautiful and brighter. And I really hope that you all do this. You know, don't just forget about it. Write down, what is it you desire for your heart? What future do you visualize for yourself? How do you want your life to look? What feelings and what emotions do you want in your home? Hear that laughter in your ears. Feel that love in your heart, and know that everything is being delivered to you. Just focus on all of your desires and know just how worthy you are of each of them.
Nikki, I had a smile, a huge smile on my face as you were speaking every word. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Makes us stop and think, and also sometimes we resonate with your thoughts, because those things do go in our mind, go round and round in circles. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting more braver and more empowered now. Day by day.
Excellent. Right. So, Lotta, we will have the Q&A at the end, and for comments as well. This has been phenomenal. And oh my goodness, Dr. Ida, it's been a while. Let me spotlight you. It's been a while since we had our one-to-one, and we're finally here. So who is Dr. Ida Green? Well, she's an RN. I don't know if I can, the acronyms, RN, LM, FT, DD, and I know the PhD. So, the soul whisperer, coach of intuition coaching, ordained minister, speaker, licensed marriage, family child therapist, college professor, NLP practitioner, Reiki energetic healer, and author of 22 best-selling books. Woo! Dr. Ida shows spiritual women how to use their intuition in business and life. And she speaks on the magic of incorporating intuition into business and life. She also offers soul readings from the Akashic Records, 5-week spiritual intuition group program, and Intuitive Awaken. Develop, grow your intuition coaching programs to help your soul grow and evolve. Dr. Ida teaches you how to tap into your inner wisdom to hear messages from Source, God, to help you create a stronger connection to the divine, manifest your desires, have fulfilling relationships, have more joy and inner peace, own your personal power, grow stronger in self-love, self-worth, happiness, have better health, wealth, and live a richer quality life. What more can I say? But take it away.
Well, I just want to acknowledge and thank you, Carol, for putting on this Women's Empowerment Group at your conference. It's really such an honor to be a part of it. I really want to acknowledge you for doing that, and all the women who've gone before me, because when women, empowered women, step up, and the world changes. So it's had some really empowered women today, and I'm just honored to be among them. But it's just an honor to be here. And so many of them have spoke about some of the things that I am talking about. So I have 5 steps that can help you to really take charge of your life and step into a bigger place. And I'm going to mention all 5 of them, but one of them I'm going to zero in the most because it kind of reflects who I am and how I got to where I am and what a powerful shift it made to my life. So the first one is self-worth, and Nikki was just talking about that. And the second one is heartfelt connection. And that is so important. We're all kind of alluding to that because we have these heartfelt connections with others. It makes such a big difference. When we connect on a heart level, people see us, they feel us, they know who we are. And that heartfelt connection goes far beyond anything, because the speaker before that was talking about the light. It really lights up the world. It lights up your body. It lights up your life. When you can make a heartfelt connection with another person, it is such a powerful thing to do. And communicating on a different level, I'm going to talk about that, and because that's really very powerful. And the reason why it's so powerful because we are constantly communicating all the time, but rarely do we communicate to be heard and be understood. And that's it's a gift, and it's something that we all need to aspire to become, because when we communicate to be heard and understood, it makes a big difference in our relationship. And most women in particular are not communicating to be heard and understood. And because our society, and especially for women, they have to really up their game a little bit and communicate to be heard, because traditionally, through the tradition, women have not been heard, they have not been seen, and really have not been understood. And we have to keep doing that, constantly keep doing it, because people are not accustomed to women expressing themselves. And we have to keep reminding them, we have to keep reminding ourselves that we want to be heard, we want to be understood, and we want to communicate to be seen. So this is such an important step for women. And it's a journey that I've been on most of my life, communicating to be heard. And part of that, my history is that I married 2 men. The first man was schizophrenic. So that was a big challenge in trying to be heard when you live with a schizophrenic man who's hearing voices but telling him other things. And then the second one I married was bipolar and alcoholic and physical and verbal abusive. So that is really a big challenge. And I had to learn to be vulnerable. Now I'm able to talk about that. When I was living in that, I could not talk about living with that schizophrenic man. And certainly I'm vulnerable enough now to talk about the last relationship with the husband who's alcoholic and bipolar, and you don't know all these things. When you meet people, they all seem so nice, and when you get into these feelings and your heart and all these connections, you forget about listening to your inner guidance. And I was not listening to my inner guidance, listening to it at all, because I've never been so nervous in my entire life. I was very nervous when I met this man and when I decided to marry him. And I was not listening to my inner voice. Otherwise, I would not have married him. Spirit was saying, get away, stay away. But because my first husband died and I didn't have children, I thought I want to be married again. So I wanted to have a family. So I chose to not listen to my inner guidance, but listen to my heart and my passion, my feeling. And so I was not listening to what Spirit was telling me. And so I ended up marrying that man. And it's the most traumatic relationship I've ever had. And it's the one where I grew the most from. I had to learn how to not to speak all my words when I wanted to speak them. I had to learn how to measure my words, how to speak, when to speak. I thought the schizophrenic guy was something else, but the second one was very something else, different, because he was very volatile, and you said the wrong thing and he would overreact and misinterpret what I said. So at the time, what was really interesting is that it doesn't matter about your education. At the time, I was a registered nurse when I met him. I had a bachelor's degree in psychology, had a master's degree in counseling, and I was studying to become a licensed marriage and family therapist. And he was saying, well, you imagine family therapist. I was becoming one, then I wasn't one. And you can fix your own relationship. You cannot. We all need coaches. We all need help. And so I did reach out to a minister, and he said, you're unequally yoked. But I thought, well, I want to be married. Then I went to a therapist, psychologist, and he said, this man doesn't want to change. He wants you to change. And I suggest you leave him alone. But okay, I want to still make it work. So I went to marriage enrichment, all the stuff you can do to make it work. And it really still didn't work. And because the first time he said, before I hit you again, I'll cut off my hand. The second time, maybe the third time, when he hit me, I looked and I thought, his hand is still on his body. He didn't cut his hands off. He has no control of his impulse. The best thing for me to do is move myself away from him and his fist. And that took some time, because it take back my power, take back my heart, take back my love, and give up on my dream of being married. But I realized I was getting really angry. And I thought, the next time he hit me, I'm going to hurt him. And I thought, if I hurt him, I'm going to end up in jail or prison. So it's better for me to leave him. So as much as I wanted to plan, take my time and plan to, at the time we had a boy that I had a foster child that we were living with. So I had to plan my escape with this little boy, and we had to go and stay at a friend's house. It's a long journey, but I did leave that relationship. And what was happening, I lost my self-esteem, my self-worth, my self-confidence. You're a very powerful woman. I just really lost who I was. So I started teaching classes at the shelter for self-esteem, self-worth, teaching anger management class, domestic violence classes. And then I started writing about my trauma, and those the beginning of my books. And I have 22 books, but I've had a lot of trauma and pain to write about. So that's how I healed myself, was writing. So I would just write, and they became books. But had I not gone through that trauma, I would have never taught those self-esteem classes, the anger management class, the domestic violence classes. I had a boy that had ADHD. I would not have been able to talk about that. And I certainly would not have written all those 22 books. So I took my lemons and made lemonade out of them. But because now it's really important for me to teach other women how, especially women, because men, I'm a woman, so I'm really looking to women, intuitive women especially, to listen to their heart, to listen on a deeper intuitive level. So now I have a process where I'm teaching that to others, how to listen to the intuition, listen to inner guidance. And I have the 8-step, well, not the 8-step, it's a process I call intuitive assessment that I'm giving away to teach you how to really make better, wise decisions, how to listen on a wise level. I have a 3-week class coming up on the 29th where I activate people's intuition. I've been given that gift. I started that in 2017, teaching those classes. And coaching is so important. I was in a coaching program at the time, and the guy said, "What is it that you do that's just like breathing?" I says, "My intuition, is active all the time." So now I just had to allow that to happen. So now I channel the angels, Jesus, and the creator of the universe. And that, but I had to just get out of the way, talking about allowing. I had to just allow it to happen. So now I'm provided for. My clients find me, but it's because I'm into allowing that to happen, letting go. So now I don't have to work. Every day I find money. Every day. Just yesterday I found a dime. Every day I find money. And for Christmas time, Spirit just gave me $50 bill. I was looking on the ground there, and there was a $50 bill. I thought, "Is that mine?" But I realized I'll get ready to go to the store to get some money from the bank. So it wasn't till Spirit gave me that. So that was my Christmas present. But when you are guided and listen to your intuition, Spirit source, the creator takes over, and it will just guide and lead you. So it's such a beautiful gift and honor for me to activate people's intuition. So I do have that class coming up on the 29th where you can enroll in that. And I actually activate all the systems in your body and all your chakras in the body as well. So it's just a great opportunity that I've been given that opportunity. And no one that I know has that, because no one has activated my intuition. We all have intuition, but it has to be activated. And just like a car, if you just let a car sit for years and years, it dies out, the battery goes dead. So I activate mine every day when I'm doing my meditation. And I've been meditating for the last 30 years now, doing transcendental meditation. But in addition, I'm a Reiki practitioner. So I do Reiki on myself and do the EFT on myself. I'm trained in both of those. But we have to constantly do things to update our skills and update ourselves. But this intuition, this inner guidance is just a beautiful thing to have. I'm also going to give you a free intuition ebook. I'm going to put that in the chat. And also I'm going to give you the energetic genius assessment. So we can look at that and see where you are in terms of your intuition and a guidance. And also I'm going to give you I do soul reading, and the soul reading tell you where you are in life, what is blocking and what is your next step. So I'm going to give you a mini soul reading, not the full one, but I go to the psychic fair and I do presentations. In fact, I'm doing at the psychic fair this coming week. And I'll be doing soul readings all day long. And then I have my 3-week program that I'll be rolling people in. That class will start on the 29th of this month. So if any of you are listening, you want to join that class, I'll certainly give you a discount as being a listener. But I just want you to realize that your intuition is there. It's like a genie, it's dormant and it's just laying flat. It has to be awakened every day, every week, every month. You have to activate that. And so we all have a gift, and no one has a gift that you have. No one has a gift that I have. We all have been given a different gift. We're all just a beautiful kaleidoscope of leaves on the tree of life. And we all have different gifts and talents. So none of us are duplicated. So the gift that you have, even though we could do the same gift, that is not done the same, because spirit flows to you in a different way than it flows to me. So just know that each of you are very precious, very special. You all have here for a reason, for a gift. You came this lifetime to work out your soul salvation. We're like diamonds in the rough. We need to be polished, our soul to be polished. So I used to think that having problems was a bad thing, but having problems is a good thing, because the more problems you have, the brighter your light shine, the more your soul is polished like a pearl, like a diamond. and you just shine. People see my light because I had so many problems. I write so many books. I've had so many problems. I can just write about them. I can talk about them, but I can connect with other people because whatever problem you have, I have had that. Let me tell you another one beautiful thing. When spirit takes over your body, I did a challenge back here in 2019. In 2019, my house flooded. I was in a hotel for 6 months. I put on a 5-day challenge. My memory, I had a mini stroke. I couldn't remember anything. Spirit just took over and did everything. No one knew until after the challenge was over that I had that mini stroke. Plus, I had 3 car accidents. My brother died in 2019, and it was just, I had surgery, had a parotid tumor removed from my ear. But hey, I'm still standing. Spirit is just guiding me and lifting me up, and I'm going to be around for another at least 110 or maybe 125. But what I want you to know is all because I let that light inside me shine. I'm always doing something and learn till the day I die. So I'm just so honored to be with all you great people who want to learn, advance, and grow, because this is what life is about. It's about advancing, it's about growing, it's about letting your light shine and letting your better self come forward. So if anyone has any questions, I can answer them, and hopefully I can put my gifts in the chat here. But the 5 steps are self-worth, heartfelt connection, communicate to be heard, be vulnerable, listen on intuitive love. And all of them important, and none is not more important than the other. But if we have any time, I can answer any questions that anyone have, and I can certainly try to make my gifts available. I'm stopping sharing my slide right now in case anyone wants to ask any questions. And I think I have my, I do have my gifts here already posted, so you can get those free gifts. So is there any one question that I can support? Certainly, I would love to support you.
All right, we're going to be opening up the floor for questions any minute now. So please feel free to ask questions of all of our amazing speakers, because we have had a really incredible evening. And hey, Ritu, I'm just speechless. We have been so blessed, so blessed. Yeah. Right. So let's open up the floor. And if you don't feel like asking it, put it in the chat and I will ask it for you. But please don't be shy. Ranjit, you're the first. Go for it. Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Right. I find as a woman and getting stronger, it's harder because other people start getting intimidated by you and don't like to see you rise. So this is a problem I'm having at the moment. So how do you deal with this situation as you are getting more confident and believing in yourself? Even the women and the men around you, they're kind of pushing your boundaries again.
If I can answer that, that's a they problem and not a you problem. So if they have an issue with you feeling empowered, they need to work that out. This is who you were born to be, and don't let anyone try to diminish you finding your voice and speaking up for yourself. So don't take their reaction as something you need to change about yourself. Feel empowered and feel amazing that you are standing up for yourself and you're voicing your needs and who you are. And if anyone else has an issue with it, they will just have to learn.
Well, I've been told like today and a few times that I'm going to lose friends because I'm not fitting into what they expected from before.
Yeah.
Ranjit, I have something to tell you. I have been in your shoes, and I have been told that you're too much or you're this or that. I have one quote I will share with you, and this is my own quote.
Thank you.
I refuse to apologize for living my life on my terms.
I refuse.
Your life, your terms. I refuse to apologize for living my life on my terms.
Thank you. Living my life on my terms.
Just say that to yourself. And that's what Nikki said is exactly right. That is their problem, not your problem. If somebody doesn't appreciate you for who you are, you don't need them in your life. That's bottom line.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very
And
much.
just to add to that, Ranjit,
in your lifetime, you're going to have about two friends at the most. So just know that you won't have that many friends. You're going to have one at the most, and all the other just acquaintances. So just know that you're going to meet a lot of acquaintances, but your true friends will be there. But don't expect everyone to be your friend, because you will find that you probably won't have one true friend at the most, and all the other just acquaintances. And you're sharpening your light, and we need all that to grow. So just be grateful that you have an opportunity to grow and be a better, and shine a bigger light in the universe, because spirit sees your light, and it didn't promise us not to have challenges, just that it would be with us as we go through the challenges. So part of life is evolving and going through the challenges and knowing that there's a better day to come. And there's, it's okay to not have everyone like you. I used to be a people pleaser, but I had to let that go.
Okay, awesome. Yvonne.
Thank you.
Yvonne.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember hearing something many years ago at a conference I went to, and the speaker was actually Janet Street Porter, and she said, listen, however brilliant you are in your life, 33% of people will love you. They'll just love you. 33% will sit on the fence, and you can win them round potentially over time. The others are just going to hate you anyway. So are you really going to spend your time and your energy trying to win the 34% or 33% that hate you when you've already got 66% on your side? If people do not want to be in your corner while you're growing and expanding, that is their choice. You just keep on growing and expanding.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome.
Ranj, sorry, Carol, I want to come in here. I want to say thank you for asking this question, Ranjit. It's a very valid question, and I believe that everyone who's stepped up to transition into being a better themselves has come to this phase that you are experiencing now. And all the contributions made here by these wonderful women is 100% truth. And all of us have faced this. We lose people, but when we move on, we realized these were the people who were only serving some purpose up till now. And then we join hands, meet people who are there to move us a little bit forward, or some of them stick forever with us. So thank you so much for asking this wonderful question, Ranjit. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, Ranjit. Can I just add to that? Thanks, women, all of us here. But I would just add something positive, that whilst you've got to start loving yourself, concentrate your energy and effort on that, and you'll be amazed at seeing what transformation it's going to bring out in other people, how they see you. So concentrate on what is positive around you, and that's loving yourself, learning to love yourself and bettering yourself. There's always ways we can improve ourselves, isn't there?
Yes.
Just grow, develop, and, do what makes you happy. And you'll be surprised. Develop that relationship with the divine power as well. That's the wonderful thing as well within yourself.
Well, because I'm from an Asian family and I'm supposed to have arranged marriage, and I didn't have one, and I got locked up and forced marriage, and I refused. I've always been the rebel, but I've found as I got older, even society hasn't changed that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
I think, to be
don't
honest,
focus. Just keep working on the positives. Look at what life's got that can help you and support you, and you can embrace those things. There's always the rubbish. Let it be there.
It's been wonderful. It's been like a ray of fresh air, like sunshine. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome. Susan.
Oh, thank you.
Let my life be an inspiration for you. If I can do it, if I can go through all that, I've lived 10 lifetimes this lifetime. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm still strong. And I've gone through living with a schizophrenic man and a bipolar and an alcoholic, and a son is ADHD and one that went to prison. Didn't tell you about all the other things I've gone through, and the tumor and the surgery. And I'm still standing, I'm still living, I'm still strong. And I've gone through a lot of stuff. So just let me be an inspiration to you. You know, if you have a tumor and you have in a hotel and you have an accident and you name it, it's been happening to me, but I'm still living, I'm still strong. So hopefully I can be an inspiration. But whenever you come with any challenges, just think of Dr. Ida. Boy, she went through a lot. If she can go through that and still standing, so can I. And you can. You're stronger than you think. I don't know how I did that, but I did it.
Awesome. Susan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Carol. First of all, big thank you to all the wonderful speakers. It's my first time on these meetings, and it's been marvellous. But I've noticed, like, most of the speakers have put a link up on, and how do we receive those, Carol?
We can
write them down or anything.
No, you can copy the chat, but I'll send it. I'll copy and send to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you all.
They are valuable.
Yeah, I thought that's amazing. Then it would disappear off the screen, and I thought, you know, hopefully we get it followed up afterwards. So yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
awesome.
Thank you.
Rena?
Yes, it was wonderful evening, wonderful talk. All the speakers, well done. So inspiring. Great work, all of you. Very, very good.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Ritu. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. This platform is a safe space where we can be ourselves. And thank you, Ritu, for creating this safe space. It is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And for those some may not know, we are booked up for the mixed event. In fact, we're full for the year. Right up until November for the mixed event. We still got, that's the male side of things. We still got space for female side of things. And for the all-female event, we are booked up for September. So yeah, it's just amazing what you hear and what you can resonate with, because everything shared this evening, we should all be able to take not just one thing from it, but several from all of our speakers. And that's why I keep saying, save the chat, save the chat. And if you can't, I will send it. Yeah. Any other questions?
Can I just add though, Carol? Because you know, sometimes there's so much richness coming at you, and it's like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Take one thing, take any one thing, and get started with that, because that's all it takes is one thing, and the other things start to line up. There's just lots of really great stuff.
This is recorded, so when uploaded to the website, you can go and pace it. Pace it a speaker a day. Yeah.
Ladies, I've shared the link tree for Kaushalya UK for if you want to stay updated around our upcoming events. Especially Facebook page is a great way. We share on LinkedIn, we share on WhatsApp and on Instagram as well. We are also now starting our YouTube channel with the same name, Kaushalya UK. Some of the stuff from our previous events has already been uploaded. The guy who's started this is doing a wonderful job of refurbing it all up, getting our videos from our website and putting them on YouTube now. This session will also be uploaded on YouTube, but it will be more quickly uploaded on our website. So he is on it. Please do look up for our YouTube channel as well. It is live and kicking now.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Very good. Wonderful.
Thank you.
And I would just like to add to everyone that the best is yet to come. The best is your best day and your best life is yet before you. You know, the worst is behind you, but every day you live is a new day with a new experience, with new possibilities. So just look for tomorrow, because tomorrow's gonna be better than yesterday. Your life is just beginning. You're just on the precipice.
Life is an adventure and should be an adventure. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm still going strong. I'll be around about 1:30. Who knows?
I would love to leave all of you with two phrases I tell everyone. One is, you are the most important person in your life, and your health is your most valuable asset. So what Yvonne actually shared resonated with me so much. Don't apologize for taking time for your self-care, your health care, because if you are not here tomorrow good and well, no matter how many people or how many things you love or plan to do, it does not matter. So you have to be selfish in order to be selfless. So remember that.
Can you repeat the second point or the second cliche, Dr. Laleh?
Second thing was, your health is your most valuable asset. You are the most important person in your life, and your health is your most valuable asset.
And you have to be selfish to be selfless.
And you have to be selfish to be selfless. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just very uncomfortable. That's why, you know, we shy away. But through our journey, we learn that you got to get out of your comfort zone and just do what you have to do. And, you know, just believe in yourself. And that's another good cliche I can leave all of you. And believing in ourselves is one big thing. And knowing what we want. Being patient as well. Yeah.
I think realizing we don't have forever, right? So we think we'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. But why really are we waiting to live the life of our dreams and everything that we aspire for ourselves? Today is the day.
Yes. Seize it.
Let's celebrate it. By the way, you can't save this chat somehow. It won't allow us to copy the whole thing and paste it. Funny enough.
You can.
I just saved the chat.
Yeah. If you look at the bottom.
Three dots down below.
Sorry?
It's a three
dots. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Save chat. Okay.
Yeah. And remember, this is not your first lifetime. This is not your first rodeo. You've done this before. And you probably maybe more do it. Who knows? But yeah, we've lived before. This is not your first lifetime. You live many lives.
Well, the tricky part I've discovered is that most valuable things are the invisible things you can't see and touch. Feel, and they're invisible, so you can't always see them, and so you get a little bit lost along the way because you forget they're there. So yeah, sometimes we have to sit down and just take time out and meditate and then just reflect and talk to the divine, and that's when some of those things reveal. But be patient, you know, one thing at a time, one day at a time. And one day you realize you're right on the top.
And if you want to get that soul reading, reach out for the soul reading. I do soul readings and I charge for them, but I'm going to give you anyone who have many soul reading that can answer some of your questions. I channel mess from the divine, so it's not me that's channeling, it's the divine, the creator is channeling. So take that advantage of that free gift if you like. I charge for them, but for you can get it for free.
It's very kind of you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Carol?
Yeah, I was just going to hand over to you.
Thank you. No, thank you so much, ladies. I mean, what an incredible evening. You know, I think what stands out from today's session is self-care, understanding your own self. And I think that is the most important thing to do. We cannot change anything for anyone unless we change that for ourselves first. And that is a fact. Words will not have any effect unless those words have been put into action. I can say something, but if I do something totally different, that would have no effect. So thank you so much for bringing home the point. Self-care, self-love, self-worth, believing in yourself. And Dr. Ida, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the hope that we all need. Thank you so, so, so much for sharing that incredible story. And I can only imagine the strength you've had to be able to stand here today, share that. And I'm sure you've shared only a very tiny bit of what you've experienced, but a big, fat, huge thank you to you. I mean, this is amazing. Thank you, Nikki, for your, shares. Thank you, Dr. Laleh, for your shares. Thank you, Yvonne. All of them have been priceless tonight. And I'm sure anyone watching this who's been here tonight is feeling as much of the, enthusiasm and hope and love, as much as anybody who'll watch it later will feel the same. So thank you, ladies, and thank you, everybody, for joining in today, being with us here, spending your very valuable time with us. And a big, fat, huge thank you to Carol, of course, who makes it such wonderful with all her efforts and, her energy and time that goes into this. Carol, thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful night. And please stay in touch. If not anything else, stay in touch on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whichever is your favorite way of staying connected. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Bye, ladies. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Love you all.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you all. Thank you.
Thank you.